Hey guys, my name is Danny Nguyen. I am a junior at Kerr High School in Alief ISD, and I currently live in Southwest Houston, Texas. As a child, I loved to explore and learn about new things that I've never seen before. I remember when I asked my parents to buy a specific toy so I could take it apart and put it back together. There was a point in time where my parents and family members named me Lee, which meant bad or ignorant in the Vietnamese language because I was always doing things out of the ordinary. When I turned 5 years old, I remember asking my mom for a little brother after watching a television show that taught kids how to love and appreciate their siblings. My mother laughed at me before I could recall anything, and on February 15, 2004, my first little brother was born. I loved that kid. He was everything I could have asked for. I held him whenever I could and played video games when he grew a little older. I told myself one day, I'll teach this boy everything I know. But soon after, things didn't turn out the way I expected it to be. For the next 3 years, my second brother was born. Due to stress and fatigue, my parents started arguing and fighting day and night. I never had the chance to ask for anything because they were constantly arguing every chance they got. At this point in time, I was around 7 or 8 years old. My little brother Henry was only 3, and my newborn brother added on to that stress. I started to blame them for all this mess they made. I didn't know any better, and I kept thinking, why did I ask for a brother anyways? I neglected the fact that I had brothers and stopped caring for them as I only cared for myself, and also thought that the parents I loved so much were my enemies. I remember one day when my mom denied my request for something and gave it to my brother instead. I grabbed him by the arm, opened the front door of the house to leave him outside, and closed it right in front of her. Oh man, was I in trouble. When things settled down, my parents slowly ceased all the arguments, and one terrible incident happened to my first little brother and I a few years later. It involved my aunts and uncles from my dad's side of the family, and because of them, my brother and I were left stranded on the streets for about 2-3 hours. Until this very day, my dad still holds deep grudges against his real siblings that to them, his children weren't worth anything. This caused many family conflicts for years and years that eventually I lost all contact with any of my cousins for as long as I can remember. They were the ones I bonded with because they were the same age as I was, and as a 10-year-old kid, I didn't know what was going on. I just thought that my parents were being extremely harsh on me because I did something, and during this time, I broke apart from my parents. This was when I especially lived up to my Vietnamese nickname. I joined school clubs and activities so that I could avoid my parents and avoid responsibilities such as orchestra and Yu-Gi-Oh club. I also snuck out during after-school activity hours and lied that I was staying after school to study. As soon as I got home, I'd stay in my room, complete my homework to keep straight A's, and play video games until I was exhausted. My parents worked more than 12 hours a day, so I practically didn't see them unless it was time to eat. I admit I felt alone, and there were times I didn't know who I would go to for help, and I almost did things that could have ended my life. Growing up, I always thought that the world revolved around me. I was that troublemaker that would make people laugh by doing idiotic things. I knew better than anything else that it wasn't the right thing to do, but I did anyway. I stayed in this state of mind where I would be rebellious against my parents until I reached high school. I realized that all the blood and sweat they've lost for me was all for my own being. High school made an impact upon my life and told me that I really need to pull everything together and act right. I started to join clubs to become successful, like student council and volunteer groups. I wanted to change how I lived and told myself that doing the wrong things wouldn't benefit me in the future. I focused on my studies, but it wasn't enough. I started to develop a habit that changed my grades negatively: procrastination. My procrastination habits were so bad that it caused the GPA of 4.13 to drop to a 3.67 all in 1 year in high school. In my sophomore year, I devoted to change my terrible habits and gave it another try. I deleted and uninstalled all my video games, stopped going out with friends unless my work was done, and tried to focus on my studies. By the end of that year, I managed to bring it up to a 3.83. I am currently a junior at Kerr High School who has a goal to improve that GPA before I graduate, and a dream of a biochemistry major after college. I work for pleasure, even if it isn't school-related work. I would complete chores and care for my brothers because I do believe. I believe that taking this dual-credit English literature course is just one of the many steps towards my dream, and I hope to do my best. What I'm trying to say is that if I ever wish for a dream, for a greater future, I believe that it all comes from hard work and dedication.